Learn to laugh, love, and live the good life. This is Chat with Women with Pam and Rochelle on Retro Radio AM 880 KIXI.
Well, welcome back. You're listening to Chat with Women, and I'm Pam.
And I'm Rochelle.
And now joining us is Mary Malloy, who is a successful speaker who leads business training and personal planning workshops around the world. As a business owner herself, she has provided valuable consultation and help to people achieve personal and professional goals. She is the co-author of the book, The Buck Stops Here, Sales and Marketing Made Easy, and her new book, Design Your Own Destiny, Life Planning for the 21st Century. So welcome, Mary.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, you're quite the busy lady, aren't you?
I am busy, but it's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Well, thank you. Well, you offer a 6-step program to creating a more rewarding life. Now, who doesn't want that program? So can you give us some of these tips?
Absolutely. Really, when people are focusing on moving to the next stage in their lives, and so many of us are, I mean, you can feel it in the energy in the air. So many of us are in transition now.
Yes.
They might have changed jobs or, might have gotten a divorce or, a lot of people are up in the air right now. Really, it's a matter of taking stock of where you are and seeing if you're in balance or out of balance. And I have a process that helps people to determine whether they're in or out of balance. And once you figure out your balance point, figure out how to bring yourself back to balance, and then move from there to creating a plan to live the life of your dreams.
Okay, I want to live the life. So come on, Mary, give it to me.
What do you mean balance? Nobody has balance. Nobody. So how do I get that?
How easy is it to attain it?
Yes.
Well, it's all a matter of counterbalancing strategies where you intellectually say to yourself, there are 4 quadrants. So you look at your life in terms of your mind, and whether you're like how everybody's like mind chatter, whack, whack, whack. You try to say, am I in balance intellectually? Am I in balance in my health and in my wealth, in my physical world? Am I in balance with my spirit and something bigger than me? Am I in balance with my emotions? And you score yourself. And once you realize where you are and you take a composite score, then you figure out counterbalance strategies. You can consciously counterbalance to bring yourself back into balance. It really works. It really works.
Well, okay. Well, we'll go back to the same thing. What are some of the tips or strategies to sort of do that?
To get us back in balance.
So let's say I have a friend who is an alcoholic. He would go back to drinking in a second if he could. And what he does to counterbalance his desire for drinking is to aggressively ski and to run. And he uses the physical to counterbalance the physical whenever he has the urge to drink. I have another friend that when she's emotionally upset, she starts running up a mountain. And she never realized that she was actually doing a conscious counterbalance strategy until she started thinking about, I'm doing that. People that have overused their minds, many times an effective counterbalance strategy is to chill out and listen to music. That's a way to counterbalance your mind. Or to dance. They might do something spiritual, like pray, or have fun, like dancing, so that's physical and emotional. So people can consciously counterbalance whatever situation they're in by looking at where they are and trying to pull themselves back into balance with other things.
You are listening to Chat with Women on AM 880 KIXI, and we are chatting with Mary Malloy, and her book is Design Your Own Destiny, Life Planning for the 21st Century. So, okay, I get what you're saying now. I get it. But if I'm an alcoholic, I must have gone through treatment.
And you're sort of taking one addiction for another. So he goes out and he skis really hard, or he runs this mountain. So that's trading one addiction, I think, for another. But let me ask you something, Mary. Let's look at something a little more difficult. Let's say your budget is out of line, all right? Mm-hmm. And so you're spending too much, or your bills are too high. Okay, do you stop spending? Is that the counterbalance?
That's the ideal counterbalance. But then the other part of the life planning process is maybe you need to be doing something different. Well, first off, the question would be, are you overspending because you're just a spending freak and you just need to spend a lot of money and that's just what you do, talking about an addiction?
Right.
Or it's just that there isn't enough money in the family and that you have to figure out whether you need to bring in more money to the family and that maybe you need to do a different job or maybe you need to do something else.
But
so
if
you might need a plan around that. That's what this whole thing does.
So
it brings the planning into process.
I see. It makes you more conscious of what's happening.
So planning is the way this works, because I'm thinking of a alcoholic or any addiction,
Right.
smoking, drinking, eating, whatever it is, shopping. Those addictions, usually you can't just sit down and write a plan to stop them. I have a son who smokes. He's tried everything. His plan has always been when I go on vacation, this whole thing. But he starts up again.
Right.
So how do you keep that plan working?
Part of his plan, and it depends on if this is first off, there's always a decision point, right? Do I really want to make a change?
Right, true.
That's in any human being. Do I really want to make this change?
True.
When the change is made, then there may be certain things that you're doing that will actually going to AA meetings, going to some sort of a non-smoker situation, or going with a nicotine patch, whatever it is. But it's consciously making the decision that this is something that I need to change, and I'm going to build this into my life so that I can be in balance. And it's all about trying to bring yourself back into balance, because it's so easy in this world, particularly now, today, for all of us to get skewed.
It's a good point, Mary. It really is. It brings us. It gives us clarity.
You have to stop
does.
and
you have to stop
and think. Okay, how bad? I like what you're saying. How bad do I want that?
Exactly.
Do I really want to quit smoking? Do I really want to cut back on drinking?
Do I really want
to
change the situation?
Do I really want to change it? And I think a lot of times they don't want it bad enough. And usually it takes getting sick or having something happen that says, okay, I really have to change it.
Right.
And isn't that the universe's wake-up call?
Sure.
Yes.
Isn't that your wake-up call?
Right.
Sure.
So we all get wake-up calls. The question is, do we listen? And we get small little wake-up calls before we even get the one gigando wake-up call.
You're right. You get the big
so it's all
before
coming
the big
along,
one.
and the question is, are we hearing?
Yes. Well, how do you set yourself up so that you do start to hear the little wake-up calls?
The little pound on the head, the little one.
How do you set yourself up for those?
I think it's for me personally, it's meditation. And some people go to church, but I think that the answer is inside. The answer isn't outside of you. The answer is inside you. And I think that sanity is inside and insanity is outside. So if you just listen to you, and I'm talking about the higher you, the bigger you, listen to you.
So
and
Mary,
what are you telling you?
Mary, did you ever have to overcome anything?
Fear, the death of my husband. Michael died, and I don't think it was fear so much, it was grief.
Right.
Complete and total and utter grief. We were together 28 years.
So,
fear is one thing that many people have. Me too.
Right.
I mean, just life happens and you get afraid.
Right.
But
That's a big one.
The biggest thing I overcame was grief.
And you did it, though, see? You did conquer it.
I did. And I had to consciously do this, by the way. And that's how the methodology came about. Actually, the methodology came about because I was asked to speak to 25 homeless women in 2003. Talk about putting your back against the wall. And I realized that what are you going to say to these women? Keep a stiff upper lip?
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't work anyway.
It doesn't work.
You really,
so
you helped them with a plan.
That's exactly it. So I took 8 homeless women, and in 6 months, 5 of the 8 were no longer homeless.
Oh.
And that was a big deal.
That's rewarding.
And then I knew it all worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in your book, Design Your Own Destiny, Life Planning for the 21st Century, in that book, it's planning. It's actually all about planning. Because we say this all the time, it's like a goal. How do you get to California, let's say from Washington, if you don't have a map?
That's right.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't get there. You eventually maybe, but it'll take you 3 times as long. So you're really all about, to me, a plan is a goal. How are you going to get there?
It's a plan, but it's also your dream. So when I use this methodology, people tell me, so I've had psychiatrists evaluate it, therapists, people tell me that what I'm doing is different than anything out there because I'm looking at the whole person. I'm looking at all of you, not only your career and not only your home life, but I'm looking at the balance of the work and the family life, and I'm looking at all of that, and then I'm looking at your dreams. And how do you build a plan to achieve the dreams, your dreams? How do you actually get from here to there?
Have you ever
whole process, the whole methodology takes you through that.
Have you ever met Marcia Wieder?
No.
Do you know who she is?
No.
She's actually a dream coach, but she was on Oprah many times, and she's all about creating the dreams of your life. And it sounds like you two ought to meet.
Oh, I'd love to.
Just go in and Google her. You'll find her. But what you're both working, from different angles of it, but the same sort of idea.
Yes.
Well, Mary Malloy, we want to thank you so much for joining us. And your newest book is Design Your Own Destiny, Life Planning for the 21st Century. Thank you so much. You're listening to Chat with Women on AM 880 KIXI. And we're going to take a break. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, Lexus of Bellevue. Thank you, Lexus of Bellevue. Did you want to say something?
Well, I wanted to
Pam?
say something about our other sponsor, Verity Credit Union, because we had about a minute and a half. Well, this was really interesting. I was talking to my daughter-in-law about changing her car loan, and she did not know that a credit union had a better rate many times than what a bank would have. And I think it's important. I want to make sure everybody listening knows that Verity Credit Union, that's veritycu.com, right now, they are going to offer you 1% lower interest rate on your car loan if you switch to them. So their rates can never be higher on a credit card than 18%. So you really need to check them out, veritycu.com.
Thank you, Pam.
That's
all right. You're listening to Chat with Women on AM 880 KIXI. We'll be right back.